Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Good evening. So, in the last class, just I was discussing about we had introductory session in the last class. Why Azure Data Engineer, role of Azure Data Engineer, Azure Data Engineering products or services, job market of Azure Data Engineer, right? Yes. Just I'll take 5 minutes what I discussed in the last session. So cloud is majorly utilized for storing the data, delivering data in various forms. Advantages of cloud over on-premises is we need to set in the case of on-premises, we need to set up our own hardware infrastructure, OS installation, purchasing of database license, installation of database server, designing database objects. To maintain all this, we require separated teams like hardware team, operating system team, networking team, right? Security team, and data administrators. Hardware team, operating system team, networking team, security team, database administrators. But here everything in the cloud premises. But everything in the cloud premises, we no need to maintain all this. No need to maintain any infrastructure. No need of any licenses. No need to maintain any infrastructure. No need of any licenses. Here everything in the cloud premises. So here everything in the cloud premises. Data engineers with the help of cloud services. Okay, data engineers with the help of cloud services, they work on the data, make it structured and useful. So data engineers are responsible for smooth data flow from the source to the destination. They're responsible for preparing the data, cleansing or filtering the data, transforming data, and processing the data. And data differences between this data engineer with data scientist and data analyst. Data scientist, the strategies for the future, and data analyst summarizes the data of the past. Means data scientist analyze the data, identify the key patterns and recommendations for the future. Data analyst summarize the data of the past, analyze the data and visualizing the data. So data engineers does all the groundwork for data scientists and analysts, and more than 70% of data analysis work is done by data engineers. Data engineering involves what are the sources of the data, what is the format of the data, how to transform the data, right? And what is the destination of the data. So why Azure data engineering demand today? So yes, the data engineers are going to create data engineers responsible for creating a data warehouse for the organization. So data engineers, they are going to structure the data, storing and monitoring the data in the data warehouse. They keep on processing. Data engineers keep on processing data, analyzing and monitoring data. They create a data pipelines through which the data is integrated in all the crucial stages of this data flow. They also make sure that the data flow is secure and efficient. We talk about the roles of Azure data engineer, designing the entire data flow architecture, creation of data warehouse for storing of structural data, that is analytical data. ETL is one of the key tasks of data engineer, means extracting data from different sources, transforming it into structured queryable form, loading the data into company storage service, data monitoring, make sure that the ETL is performed in a proper way and the data is available everywhere it is required. Data security, right? Major responsibility of data engineers to check if the team requires the data insights. The data need to be secured at each step of the process without any data leaks or data exposure. Collaboration and communication, they have to constantly communicate with the business team to check if that team needs data insights. Analytics, so they need to have some strong analytical knowledge, means skills to perform this kind of analysis, and certain things need to be automated, which requires minimal human intervention. Okay. Data engineering products or services. We have got various Azure data engineering products or services: Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Synapse Analytics, Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, Azure Cosmos DB, Azure Streaming, and Azure Key Vault. Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Synapse, Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, Azure Cosmos, Azure Streaming, and Azure Key Vault. In a simple way, right? Say Azure SQL. It's a cloud RDBMS. It's a cloud RDBMS of Microsoft in Azure for OLTP operations. Azure Data Lake, some distributed file system with unlimited data storage. That is what a data lake. That is, it's a repository of large varieties of structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data. Right. Every cloud data lake provides some benefits, right? Like unlimited data storage, supports all varieties of data, structured, unstructured, and semi-structured, supports all formats of data like CSV, JSON, zip. Here, data is in the form of files. In Azure Data Lake, data is stored in the form of files. Data is stored in the form of files. So for the files, we cannot maintain relationships. Only for the tables, we can maintain relationships, right? We can maintain relationship only for the tables. Yes. So for that, so I'm expecting so in the case of Azure Data Lake, we cannot maintain relationships as they are files. For the files, we cannot maintain relationship. For example, so I'm expecting a cloud RDBMS, that too used for data warehouse. That too I'm expecting. Parallel processing. That is nothing but Azure Synapse Analytics. So Azure Synapse Analytics for data warehouse operations, for big data operations, for batch operations, batch processing, for parallel processing, batch processing, right? Millions and trillions of records will be involved, right? So here we have a database. Here we have a database called Azure Synapse SQL Pool DB. Simply we say like Synapse DB. Simply we say it as Synapse DB. So what is Synapse DB? What is Synapse DB? Cloud data warehouse, right? Cloud data warehouse of Azure. We have a database called what is Synapse DB? Cloud data warehouse of Azure. When to go for Azure Data Lake? When to go for Azure Data Lake or when to go for Azure Synapse means if data is totally structured, go for Azure Synapse. If data is semi-structured or unstructured, go for Azure Data Lake. So here Azure Synapse for data warehouse operations, for big data, for batch processing, and for parallel processing. Next slide. Azure Data Factory. Just in a single line, I said it is a cloud-based ETL of Microsoft in Azure. It is a cloud-based ETL of Microsoft in Azure cloud platform. Cloud ETL or cloud-based ETL. So, for example, OLTP systems. We have got OLTP systems, online transactional processing, and the other side like data warehouse. The example of OLTP systems, one is Azure SQL, and generally OLTP systems day-to-day operations like Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, MongoDB. An example of data warehouse, Azure Synapse. And if you see, like if you heard about Teradata, Netija, Vertica, Teradata, Netija, Vertica. This is data. Where ADF will come? ADF, Azure Data Factory. ADF, it doesn't come in OLTP. It doesn't come in OLTP. ADF doesn't come in. Data warehouse. ADF doesn't come in OLTP. ADF doesn't come in data warehouse. Between these two OLTP systems and data warehouse systems, you can see ADF here, Azure Data Factory. Between these two. Between these two, we see, right, ADF. ADF is an integration service. ADF is an integration service. Between OLTP systems and data warehouse systems. See, generally, all transactions happens at this OLTP systems. All transactions, right? Yes. OLTP systems. How to bring these transactions? How to bring all transactions happens at OLTP systems. How to bring these transactions into warehouse system, into warehouse system? We have ETL. We have ETL. By using ETL tools. What are the various ETL tools already available? Like Informatica, Data Stage, Talent, all this. All these are on-premise. All these are on-premise. ETL tools. On-premise ETL tools. But I need a ETL. I need a ETL on cloud. That is what? ADF. Using ADF, we can connect to the cloud databases. Using ADF. Using ADF. We can connect with cloud databases. Non-cloud databases. Cloud database, non-cloud database. NoSQL database. Using ADF, we can connect with cloud databases, non-cloud databases, NoSQL databases. Not only SQL, right? NoSQL. We can extract data and dump the data into this data lake or Synapse, right? Yes. Here our working style. Working style is ELT. Here working style is ELT. Here it is here it is ETL. Here it is ETL. But our working style is ELT. Here it is ETL. But our working style is ELT. Extract, load, transform. Here it is ETL, but our working style is ELT, extract, load, and transform. ETL for small volumes of data. For small volumes of data. ELT for huge volumes of data. Okay. Azure SQL, right? Azure SQL. It is cloud database, cloud OLTP database, right? Yes. We talk about this Azure SQL, right? I was talking about this Azure SQL. It's a cloud RDBMS database for day-to-day operations. Azure Data Lake is for storing the data in the form of files. Storing the data in the form of files. In the form of tables, storing the data in the form of tables, Azure SQL. Storing the data in the form of files, Azure Data Lake. And Synapse for data warehouse and big data operations. ADF for ETL. That's to cloud-based ETL, right? Cloud-based ETL. See, in our course, a major discussion like ADF and Azure Databricks in this. Yes, SSIS also is on-premise. Yes. See, ADF, ADF, right? Zero coding ETL, I'm saying. No coding involved, everything drag and drop, right? ADF versions, two versions. ADF version 1, ADF version 1, secondly, like ADF version 2. See the difference between this version and one version 2, lot of differences you can observe. In ADF version 1, you have got lot of prerequisites, but in ADF version 2, there are no prerequisites. It is made very simple, but try to know about this ADF version 1, how it was and how it was made. And after you are getting ADF version 2, how it was made simpler. In a simple way, in ADF version 1, if I talk about this ADF version 1, it is used to perform EL only. It is used to perform EL only, but not ETL. It is used to perform EL only, but not ETL. There were no transformations. There were no transformations. So ADF version 1, it is used to perform EL only, but not ETL. There were no inbuilt transformations. There were no inbuilt transformations. To perform transformations, right? To perform transformations, some additional services required. I'm talking about version 1, right? Lot of prerequisites, but in later, once you come to version 2, is made much more easier and simpler. To perform transformation, some additional services required. Some additional services required, right? Yes. Such as ADLA, Azure Data Lake Analytics. Azure Data Lake Analytics. ADLA, Azure Data Lake Analytics. Your analytics are done by USQL. Your analytics are done by USQL. unified structured query language, unified structured query language. It is not equivalent basic SQL. It is not equivalent to basic SQL. They're different. Secondly, you need to have the knowledge about HD insights. HD insights. Hadoop insights, right? What is it? Hadoop insights. Hadoop is a distributed computing cluster. Hadoop is a distributed computing cluster. Here we have a data flow. Here we have a data flow language called a PIC, Apache PIC. So in ADF version 1, to perform transformations, you need to have knowledge on this. Some additional services required like ADLA, Azure Data Lake Analytics, HD Insights. Here in HD Insights, we have a data flow language called PIC. Using a PIC, data flows are written and transformations are performed. Using PIC, the data flows are written and transformations are performed. Azure functions. These Azure functions are complex to implement. These Azure functions are complex to implement. Azure Databricks and stored procedures. HD Insights, Azure Functions, Azure Databricks, and stored procedures. To perform these, right, these transformations. I'm talking about version 1. In version 2, you don't need to have all this knowledge. No prerequisites. To perform these transformations, you should be a developer. You should be a developer first. The two. Should be expert. Should be expert in scripting. Should be expert in scripting. There is USQL scripts. Second, big scripts. Azure functions. Azure Databricks. stored procedures, USQL are these big scripts by Hadoop developer, right? By Hadoop developer, Azure functions, very complex code, right? By .NET developer, Azure Databricks by Spark developer, stored procedures by SQL developer. By Hadoop developer, Azure functions by .NET developer, Azure Databricks by Spark developer, and stored procedures by SQL developer. So this much prerequisites is required in ADF version 1, but in ADF version 2, all this is not required. So this was the problem. This was the problem, right? Yes. In ADF version 1, in ADF version 1. Afterwards, Microsoft recognized this problem and decided to make a ETL tool with zero coding. That's why they launched a new version, ADF version 2. So that's why they launched. So afterwards, Microsoft recognized this problem and decided to make a ETL tool with zero coding. That's why they launched a new version, ADF version 2. The zero coding ETL, zero coding ETL. Previously, Informatica. %, drag and drop. 80% drag and drop. 20% writing is SQL scripts. 80% drag and drop, 20% writing SQL scripts. But ADF version 2, 100% drag and drop. No need to write. So zero coding ETL, we say 100% drag and drop. In ADF version 2, we got new features. Data flows, such as data flows, Power Query. Data flows in Power Query. Okay. So understood, right? So ADF, no coding, zero coding, everything drag and drop. So the other components as I was discussing, right? Yes. Sorry. Azure Databricks means it's a Apache Spark based data analytics platform. Azure Cosmos DB means it is cloud-based, Azure cloud-based NoSQL database, just like MongoDB, we have got Cosmos DB, NoSQL database. Azure Streaming, analyzing and processing high volumes of streaming data from multiple sources simultaneously. Azure Key Vault, secure key management for protecting the data in the cloud. Secure key management for protecting the data in the cloud. So I said, as an Azure data engineer, major discussion will be on this Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, PySpark, and Azure Synapse Analytics. These four. Along with that, you'll also be getting knowledge on this Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Streaming. Means as a ADF developer, as a Databricks, as PySpark developer, and this, right? You'll be communicating with Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, and Azure Streaming. What? Yes. So just check with this, right? Yes. Course content, Azure Data Factory. So overview about all these things, Azure Data Factory portal UI, top level components, pipelines, activities, link service, data sets, triggers, data flows, pipelines, what is creating pipeline, organizing pipeline, debugging, publishing, linker services, creating for this blob, SQL database, SQL server, Azure Data Lake, Azure data sets for this Avro file, binary file, CSV file, Excel file, JSON, ORC, activities, different types of activities, copy activity, filter, get metadata for each. So many like triggers, schedule trigger, tumbling window, storage event trigger, custom trigger, integration runtimes, source controls, data flows, mapping data flows, different data transformations like filter, aggregate, conditional split exist, group by, pivot, flatten, parse, stringify, filter, sort, alter row, right? Validate schema drift, removing duplicate rows using mapping data flows, slowly changing dimensions, SCD type 1, type 2. Around 50 exercises we'll be discussing, right? Yes, 50 exercises. So like all these are the exercises, right? Practical exercises, around 50. Azure Databricks introduction. Before going with Azure Databricks, the prerequisites like overview on this big data, overview on this Hadoop, overview on this Spark, and overview on this Azure cloud computing, right? And coming to this Databricks cluster management, starting a cluster, terminating a cluster, deleting a cluster, cluster log, cluster access control, types of clusters, Databricks pools without pools, clusters, high concurrency, Databricks utilities, credential utilities, data utility, file system utility, job utility, library utility, notebook utility, secrets utility, limitations of these utilities, Databricks integration with the blob storage, Synapse, Databricks handling multiple file formats, CSV data, JSON data, Parquet files, Excel files, XML file data, ORC file format, Avro files, Databricks batch processing, historical data load, incremental data load, data transformations, aggregations, join operations, window functions, or union operations. Databricks streaming API. What is streaming? Process of streaming using PySpark API, handling bad records, loading the data into tables, Databricks Lakehouse, Delta Lake, differences between Data Lake and Delta Lake, features of Delta Lake, how to create Delta tables, DML operations, merge statements, STD type 1, type 2, data deduplications, workflows in Databricks, introduction to this workflows, scheduling Databricks jobs, monitor Databricks jobs, and Azure Synapse. using Azure Synapse Analytics, Azure Storage Account integration with Azure Synapse, Azure SQL database integration. You can see all this is for Azure Synapse. And the data flows, Spark pull in Azure Synapse. Okay. So I said we'll be discussed in brief about this data factory, Databricks, PySpark, Azure Synapse Analytics. So offerings from my side, you'll be getting live session video, each and every session video, right? Soft copy of this class notes, assignments and tasks to work, a WhatsApp group for technical discussion, or if you got any errors, you can take the snap of that and post in this WhatsApp. Resumes and interview questions, hands-on interactive sessions, right? Yes. And let me make it up clear about the timings of this batch. First week it will be at 4 p.m. And later it will be at starting at 5 p.m. up to the end of the course. Observe this, and tomorrow the link is going to be changed. You are supposed to get enrolled for getting the link to your mail. Right. So first week it will be at 4 p.m. Later it will be 5 p.m. So all the sessions will be hands-on. Means you can do parallelly along with me the pipelines creations, notebooks, creating notebooks, all these things. You can do parallelly along with me. If any error, if you got stuck up anywhere, you can share this. Yes. All the sessions are interactive, hands-on sessions, I said. And yes, yes, Pradeep, right? What is the duration of this course? So this is majorly like 4 courses are involved in this. You can say Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, PySpark, Azure Synapse Analytics. Totally this Azure Data Engineering package. So it goes around 3.5 months. And but if you want to go parallelly, means if you want to go with less time, if you are unable to spare that much of time, when Azure Data Factory is going on, you can parallelly attend Azure Databricks whenever I start in any batch, if it is Flex or PySpark, right? These things. Azure Databricks or PySpark, Azure Synapse, right? Parallelly, if you're attending multiple things simultaneously. Otherwise, one after the other, it goes around 3 months, right? Yes. So from tomorrow, yes, the link is going to be changed. You are supposed to get enrolled. Yes, for getting from tomorrow onwards, a WhatsApp group will be created. Tomorrow a WhatsApp group will be created. You will be added to the WhatsApp group. From tomorrow daily, you will be getting the videos to your Google Drive. The notes you'll be getting to your mails, right? And you can see in the chart, a big message is given by this online team that ADE course content. And if you have missed the yesterday session, right, you can just check this session demo video, it is given. And their contact details, if you have got any concern, the contact details they have provided. And the payment details they have forwarded. If any queries, you can contact the contact details. 4 contact details have provided. And some of you, yes. So they've given a note. So most of you forget, right? See, if you want to get the link to your mail, they are saying to send the screenshot of your payment to the mail ID that is provided, Durgasoft online training @gmail.com. Right. Then only they'll be forwarding the link for the tomorrow session. Right? Yes. Fine. Any other queries from your side anyway? Right. So everything in brief, in depth, we'll be discussing step by step with many working examples. You can do parallel along with me, hands-on, right? So a typical 3 to 4 years experience person, how much knowledge, right? That much knowledge you are going to gain. That's why it's not like a 45 hours course. It's like 3.5 months course, right? So you'll be gaining all these things, right?
Sir, is there any required for Azure in license version to take?
See, yeah. You'll be getting a free subscription, Azure free subscription, right? But it will give for 1 month. You can work. Otherwise, if you want to get one more free subscription with another credit card, with another mail ID, another phone mobile number, right? You can get
Okay,
it
sir.
for 1 more month. In this way, you can get for 1 month, means a different mobile number you need to use every time. a different email ID and a different credit card or debit card you can use. For every 1 month, you can get it. Otherwise, you need to go with pay as you go. That is paid version. I'll say with a limited, with very, very less charges, how you can work with the practicals, right? So after practicing, what you need to delete so that you won't be charged, right? So every day, after doing your practice, you are supposed to delete some, right? Things, right? So that you won't get huge charges. Very with minimal charges, you can work with this because there are some things, high-end technologies like Azure Databricks and Synapse and the PYSPARK requires, right? Some services which are free only for 1 month. Some services are free for lifetime. Some services are free if for 1 year. Some are free for 1 month only. But Azure Data Engineering related services, they're free for 1 month. So I'll just help you out right now. How to work with this free subscription. Later, how you can get this pay as you go with many minimal charges, how you can work like this. Okay.
Approximate how
Company
much amount would you
benefits
can
itself.
spend on that subscriptions?
So approximately, so to work with it, right? It won't
Yeah.
charge you more. It will charge around 300 to 400 per month.
Oh, nice. Okay, thank you, sir.
Sir, can you share this sheet, sir?
This one, notes. Notes you're talking? Yes. This notes everything you'll be getting in a clear manner. So like that. Okay. So from tomorrow we'll be starting with the actual things, right? Yesterday and today they were the introductory
Is
sessions.
there any morning batch is going on like for the ADF or Azure Databricks? So it will be helpful for me.
Morning batch recently it has started, but you can, as of now, no, but after it takes like 15, 20 days. If you
So
want, so once you get enrolled, right? If you want, you can continue in this batch. When that batch starts, you can just shift to that batch.
okay. So how many days went on, sir?
Morning,
In
already like
morning session,
almost like 20 days,
17 days, 17.
around 20 days.
Okay, okay, sir. Yeah, timings in the morning batch is 8 p.m. 8 a.m. only, right?
Mm.
Okay. So
That's
it's same like Azure Data Engineer only, right? Or it has separate only for Azure Databricks only.
Azure Data Engineering.
Okay, okay, fine, sir.
Yes. Morning batch, it takes time. If you wait for around 20, 15 days more, it takes for starting a new batch in this morning.
New batch.
Mm.
Same timing, sir, or different timing?
9 o'clock it will be.
9 o'clock. Okay. Yeah, that also works for me. Yeah.
Yeah, fine.
Okay, sir. Yeah. Yeah. No problem. Thank you.
Any
Thank
other
you.
queries, right? Anyone? Right. Okay. So if I'm done with the queries, right, I will sign off for now. Meet you tomorrow, same time at 4 o'clock, but with a different link. So get enrolled for getting the link, notes, videos, and all these things, right? Thank you all for your time. Thank you. Meet you tomorrow. Yes.